Shalom, welcome to Practical Spirituality here at Eshet Torah in the old city of Jerusalem, overlooking the Temple Mount. How do you pump up your soul? So we're always in a battleground between body and soul. You're always in a battle like that. Like, for example, you guys tell me body or soul. Okay, everyone say body or soul. You're walking down a street, let's say in the old city of Jerusalem, and you see up ahead, like 30 feet ahead, you see a beggar. Yeah, someone's collecting tzedakah. Now, your first thought is like, toll booth. Yeah, body or soul. What voice is that? Between the two voices. That's a body voice, toll booth. And then you have another voice saying, hey, this person made it to the streets. Like, the least you can do is give a little something. What voice is that? Soul voice. So you reach in your pocket and you're like, thank God that our fingertips have so many nerve endings, because feel like that's a 5. Ooh, that's a 10. There's the schnickel, the 2. Here's a 1. Ooh, did I find a 50 agarot piece? Yes. And then you pull out your 50. You're about to pull out your 50, or you already pulled it out. You're ready to pay the toll. By the way, how much is 50 agarot in US dollars? 13 cents. You wouldn't give 13 cents to your enemies. Cheapskate? What voice is that? Right, so first of all, the one that was happy about the 13 cent 50 agarot, which voice? Body. And then you're like, you wouldn't give 13 cents to your enemies. Soul. So you reach back in and you're like, oh, here's a shekel. How much is a shekel? 27 cents. Also, like, not something you can't possibly give a shekel for tzedakah. I mean, that's just a horrible humiliation of you, really. You should be humiliated handing a shekel. But meanwhile, we all are so proud of ourselves. We're all just like, here's your 27 cents, sir, as we walk through in our shoes that are like, that we ordered on Amazon for God knows how much, And anyway, but we proudly hand him our 27 cents. But when we go through the actual toll booth, we're like, okay, let's just get through this. Which voice? Body voice. And then you say, yeah, the least you could do is say hello. Which voice is that? Soul voice. And then they're like, okay, hello, we'll give him a hello. That's it. Which voice? Body voice. What if you gave him a bracha? Soul. Yeah. So we're going through this all day. All day. You're already full and you're about to take seconds. Which voice? Body. They're asking you, do you want it on whole wheat or white? And you're like, I'll take it on the whole wheat, please. It's a soul, because you eat the white. Meaning the less healthy you eat, the heavier your body gets, the less soul voice you got. The heavier body is, the less soul voice you got. If your body's feeling lethargic, then it's going to speak louder. If your body's feeling lean, mean, and clean, your soul's gonna have more of a voice. You're gonna be more present. You're gonna have more voice, and this is why having your body at top health is so important. You gotta have your body in full flexibility, coordination, stamina, strength, balance. These things got to be happening. Now you also got to fuel up, so you got to eat the cleanest fuel you can. You want your fuel to be as close to the original source as possible, the least being adulterated by human hands. And then what happens is your body just shuts up. It's like your body shuts up and then the soul speaks up. So a lot of people, especially today in the black hat world, want to pretend that keeping healthy is like Greek. They love the little kids' Hanukkah coloring books. Shows the modern day little black hat community Hanukkah books shows the little kid like the Greek kid's going to the gym, and the Jewish kid's laden with books and he's going to study. He's kind of leans one way because he's always wearing the thing on this side. But even when he takes the thing off, he still leans because he's been doing this for years now. And so that's called soul. But the truth is, and you could go visit the hospitals for this one, is that, it's really hard to feel your soul when you're in some ward in a hospital. because you didn't care for yourself. And it's not very soulful to die young because your arteries couldn't take the situation. Not to mention the poverty that can come with Torah study can create great stress in one's life, and which leads to many ailments, that kind of stress. So these are not healthy ways to be living one's life, and not to mention leaning on society leaning on society in a way that's affecting you emotionally as well, because of the fear of rejection, of like having to lean on people means you're gonna have to call them, and it gets uncomfortable, it's awkward, and whatever. It's the whole thing's a bit of a nightmare, and so it's something that you want to watch out for. And I'll tell you the truth that there are many people in this world who are great Torah scholars, who are making, if I can speak a little French, beaucoup dollars, big bucks, who are serious Torah scholars, and it is not a conflict at all to be doing that. It could be even a few hours a day of work, when done smart, can make you lots of money while being a Torah scholar at the same time. And that's not for everybody. There's some people just want to live a more ascetic life, except in the end they're going to be leaning on the aesthetic people's lives. Now, okay, so that's your body and your soul voice. And you're always in a battleground. You have to embrace the battle. Because those of us who want to run from the battle, well, you tell me, what happens to someone on a battleground who wants to pretend they're not on a battleground? They die, right? Not a good thing to do. You don't want to say, you know what, I'm tired of this battle we're in. I'm going to pretend there's no battle. You're going to get it. And we do meet people. You probably know people your age who are just tired of battling. And you literally watch them spiral downward until they're flushed totally down the toilet. Like, you literally watch them spiral down there, and really they were just tired. They're just tired, and then after a while they can't live with themselves because they're doing so many stupid things. So then they start poking at God. Maybe there's no God. Maybe Torah's not true. Like, they can't live with themselves, so they gotta get rid of God somehow. How can we get rid of God for this? This is like Jew turned Amalek. Because they're just tired of being in a battle. They're starting to lose the battle. And they're starting to, and the only thing they can get rid of now to feel better about themselves is God. But we've got to pump up that soul voice. So how do we get that done? And just the last mushal I'd like to give is a very short film called Bambi versus Godzilla. You guys ever watched the film Bambi versus Godzilla? It's really short. Yeah, I mean, it's extremely short. Bambi doesn't do so well against Godzilla. The whole movie just shows Bambi, in the green in the forest and whatever, and then you see Godzilla's footprint, shadow of his foot coming down, and then the movie's over. It's a really short movie. Anyway, but the soul voice, the soul is so subtle compared to the body. The body is got great immediacy in this world, and the soul is really salient. It's not so clear. You can't, for example, the body you could video, I could video you sitting here. I can't video your soul. I can't video the soul at all. It just doesn't show up that way. So how do you pump it up? So various ways of pumping it up. We already mentioned a couple, but I'll just repeat those. One is eating healthfully. Another thing is to avoid all negative commandments. Negative commandments, when someone ignores negative commandments, the body voice gets much stronger. So you want to act with accuracy and precision to avoid negative commandments. Another one is to be around very, very spiritual people. I mean, take the person who's the most irresponsible person you've ever met because they're so spiritual. I mean, really irresponsible. You should never be like that person, by the way. I'm talking about people who are just so far out. I mean, they're like a kite without a string. They are a helium balloon without a string. They're just floating in air. And you make sure you see that person every day and learn something from them. each day. Meaning they themselves are they're a korban. They're like a. I mean, their life is a total. I don't even know how to translate the word that they're a korban. Meaning, I pity the fool married to someone like this. Yeah, because they're definitely not making Shabbos or changing diapers. That's for sure. They're on their way to yoga or something. But anyway, find the most flighty spiritual person you can ever find, and spend some time with that person every day, and get your soul pumped up from them. Because there are people like this. There are people who are just barely tethered to this world. Now, if you want to make that even better, you can find someone who's what's called a Rebbe. You can find a Rebbe. Not too easy to find Rebbes, because most Rebbes these days are politicians. But there are these hidden gems out there, and I'm connected to one of them. And I usually go on Thursday nights. I might go this Thursday night as well, even though I'm running a program till 11, so maybe I won't go. See how strong I'm feeling. But you find the same person who's like barely tethered to this world.
Who's this?
And my teacher is Rav Shalom Friedman. He lives in Beitar. I used to go no matter what, but he just moved to Beitar in the last year or two, and now it's like I need strength to go there, especially if I'm running a program. So anyway, find that person and raise your hand if you have that person in your life. Amazing. So 4 of you. By the way, I'm that person for a lot of other people. For a lot of people, I am that person. But I'm telling you, I'm nothing compared to some people I'm hanging around. I mean, these are people who, it's a miracle they're even alive. For example, my teacher, he only sleeps 2 hours a day, except on Thursdays and Fridays, he doesn't sleep at all. And he only eats the amount of food that will keep his body alive. He had to go to the doctor. He started getting sick, so he goes to the doctor says, "What do you eat?" He says, "Well, I eat 2 slices of white bread." And the doctor's like, "Why white bread?" And he says, "Well, it has the most ingredients. It's got a ton of different things in it." The doctor's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, they come from all over the world." And the doctor's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, if I eat something that has ingredients from all over the world, I'm raising up all of those different places." And the doctor's like, "Yeah, you're gonna die. You're gonna die doing this little elevator experiment of yours, And so the doctor said, "Listen," and the Rebbe was not willing to go down from this 2 slices of a day, So the doctor said, "Listen, you're gonna have to switch to whole wheat." He's like, "There's not as many ingredients." He says, "You know what? Why don't you make a whole wheat sandwich? You'll put 2 slices of white bread, 1 slice of whole wheat in the middle, and you'll have a whole wheat sandwich." And the Rebbe agreed. And he never got sick again. He's been going for 10 years on this sandwich that he eats, the whole wheat sandwich. I mean, this is really out there. I've never seen him eat a meal, and I've sat with him Shabbos, Sukkot, Yom Tov, and Rosh Hashanah. I've sat with him, never seen him put down food. A bite of soup, and then he sends it to the Hasidim. A bite of fish, a little bite, he sends it to the Hasidim, and you're with him for 5 hours. But one thing he does during those meals, he drinks a lot of alcohol, which is really weird. I mean, he drinks more alcohol in one sitting than I could drink in a week. That would be my Purim intake, and he's doing this every Shabbos meal. What in the world is going on with this person? With no food. For years, 40 years he's going like this. Anyway, you need someone in your life like this. Someone in your life who's just out there. And you better find someone like that, because you're way too in here. And you need to be, there are human examples of out there. And you shouldn't be like them, by the way, because it's really irresponsible to be like that. And so, meaning I would never do what he's doing, ever. I'm into sports, I'm into nutrition, I'm into stretching and flexibility and hot baths and massage therapy and stuff, I'm totally in this world, which means all the more so I need someone not in this world. So everybody find that person that's not in this world and learn from them. Learn from them. Let them teach you the ways of the soul. And it's really, I have to say, it's done wonders in my life. In fact, I would never ever be standing in front of you every day teaching the classes I do if it wasn't for this person. He is the only reason that I have anything to say to you. It all comes from him. So that's a big one in pumping up the soul. Another thing is to slow it all down. You got to make one slow something a day. You got to just do something slow per day. I suggest a bracha. Make one slow bracha a day. That will pump up the soul. Obviously, you got to know what the bracha means, but I have classes online. I think it's called the Anatomy of a Bracha. But you can find my bracha meditations online. I even have some that it's an hour per word. So meaning I give over an hour about Baruch, an hour about Atah, an hour about Hashem. But once you learn those things, make one slow bracha a day where you just go all the way there. Because a lot of us, we're just skipping these things. Meaning it's almost like the bracha's in the way of your food. And you need to get it out of the way in order to get to the food. So that's the bracha, doing a really slow bracha. You getting all this?
All of it.
Great. You're welcome. I'm not going to go into general mitzvahs and stuff because that's the whole point of them, is to pump up the soul. So I'm not going to do so much of that. But another thing that I would mention is to be involved in daily meditation. Daily meditation, which just means deep breathing and real focus. The word meditation means focus. It means to focus on one thing at a time. That's the literal translation. So just a little of that every day. A little deep breathing and focus. That will ignite the soul very much for you. And I feel like I'm missing stuff for pumping up the soul here. Yeah, anyone else here would like to add things for pumping up the soul? Yeah. Ma'asim Tovim. Okay, I wouldn't have thought of that directly as pumping up the soul, but it's certainly a nice thing to do. And I think it takes care of the body voice quite a bit, so it'll at least default you back to the body, the soul voice. Anyone else got a... Yeah. What's that? Hisbodedus. I'm not a big Hisbodedus guy, but have you noticed that pumps up the soul voice? I've heard from people that if they do it, if someone goes out and does an hour a day of Hisbodedus every day, they go out and spend an hour, and an hour is kind of a lot to chew at the first time, but that your belief in God is set forever. I mean, you'll never ever lose. Just if anyone that's struggling with belief in God, an hour a day of Hisbodedus is all you need just to get it. Meaning you can stop after a little while. But I'm personally not a Hisbodedus guy. I'm too ADHD for that. You had one? Yeah.
Just generally taking a self-inventory, what you have to be grateful for. If you take a step back and look at
Gratitude. Okay. Anyone else? Soul voice? I'd say probably the biggest thing of all is learning Jewish mysticism. If you study Jewish mysticism, for example, there's a book written by the Baal Tanya. It's part of the Sefer Tanya, but it's the middle book. It's called Shar Yichud Ve'emunah. If you read that book, you will have such a soul. You'll have this burst of soul voice, and you can literally just read the first chapter. You can read it over and over again. You can read the first, second, and third chapter, and be done, and it'll change your life forever. Like that one book. It's called Shar Yichud Ve'emunah, which means the gates of unity and faith. I don't even know how you translate that, but I mean, you got to have the biggest Yetzer Hara to not read that, because it's such a basic thing. You can open it up. You can open it up in English. You don't have to be a genius to understand it. It totally changes the way you say Shema. Totally changes the way you make brachas. And it's one tiny chapter, and it's a total game changer. So, and I would read a couple of those tiny chapters, read them deep, read them with a friend, and wow yourselves together, like freak out with it. Like I tend to enjoy it much more with someone, because we're both like, whoa, and it's like a roller coaster ride, just reading this one chapter, or a couple of the chapters. But definitely, that's a big way to pump up the soul voice, is to read Shar Yichud Ve'emunah. It's a really, really special and simple path to spirituality. Shalom, everybody. Have a beautiful day.